Hey, this is DeagleBeagle here. I want to make a video about multi-strike moves because I feel like it could be pretty useful if you're trying to kill Pokemon in one with one move, I should say. Not one hit, but one. It's kind of like OHKOing it though if you hit it with two or more hits and take it out. So let's look at some of the different multi-hit moves. As far as arm thrust goes, I don't recall any good Pokemon getting arm thrust. Okay, maybe Hariyama. Palma? Maybe. Hariyama. Okay, arm thrust hits 2 to 5 times, but that's pointless because that's not gonna one shot consistently like Meowscarada unless you use like loaded dice with it. And are you really gonna use loaded dice with that? That's not worth it for that low power. Um, and then so I would say that's not an option. What's the other? The ones that I'm thinking of are like, boosted like Terra Fighting, double kick, or because if you look at it at the damage calculation, uh, you kind of need it versus Meowscarada. Like Canrock dies even easier to double kick, so I would look more at Meowscarada. Now you could also use dual wing beat Ments, but I get so tired of it missing. I had to stop using Ments because it's like when you for multi-hit moves you really need them to hit. So when they miss, it's like really annoying. And I would probably not use Salamence anymore, even though it is pretty good sometimes if dual wing beat hits, and it does have Intimidate. You can use Mirror Herb with a lot of these Intimidators. Um, anyways, Baxcalibur, if you're going to use it, same with Ments, it should be Choice Scarf with Icicle Spear to I did another video on my Baxcalibur guide. I did a video stating the percentage likelihood of it killing, outspeeding and killing Meowscarada. It's probably around 90%. I think I said it was around 87.5% if you do the math. Um, Now, let's just look at a few other options. By the way, this would be a good option versus like Camrock because not only does it have Intimidate, but to intimidate like Canrock Tar, but you can one shot the like Canrock. And we'll look at common Sashers pretty soon. You can also, of course, run Tauros Water with double kick. Let's look at all the double kick users actually. Let's say they have to be fighting type. Oh, just Tauros and Flamingo? Flamingo's alright, but you would probably want Tauros Water or Fire, not the regular one. Even though I guess there's nothing wrong with the regular one, it's just I prefer Pokemon that have two stab moves for more offensive flexibility. So you could run double kick with this. And then what else do we have? It doesn't even show double kick at first. Barrage, that's not gonna be worth it. You need something to super affect Pokemon probably, or be decent power. So actually I shouldn't even look at some of these things. Bullet Seed I will show because like Canrock is is weak to it. So Bullet Seed, I believe there's Breloom and a few others. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't. Maybe Bullet Seed with it, just to, but it would only be to one shot, like, like Canarock possibly with it. I wouldn't normally run it on anything that doesn't normally already run it. So really, it's just Breloom that I can think of with Technician. Because if you're not using Technician or Skill Link or something, I don't think it would be worth using Loaded Dice for it. Some people do use Loaded Dice with Breloom. Yeah, I think that's about it. So then the next one, and Bullet Seed's mostly good for. I guess we should go over the common Sashers first of all, but I'd say Meowscarada. Oh, they must have just updated the whatchamacallit, the stats, because it used to be Goldango that was higher. So they must have. Okay, yeah, Meowscarada is used a lot. See, and it's usually sashed. It almost seems more often than 66%. Okay, Goldango. No, let me just go to the Sashers. That's not a common Sasher. Okay, Murkrow. Oh, wow, almost all Eviolite. I would have thought there would have been more Sash. I mean, I expected Eviolite to be the most common item, but I would have thought Sash would be common as well, but apparently not. And then other Pokemon that might be sashed, maybe Mousehold, but I think we should focus on the Pokemon that have Sash as the most common item, like Pawmot, Meowscarada, Lycanroc. Let's look at some others. Indeedee sometimes. And then what other Pokemon would use Sash? Maybe Pelipper, since it has a 4 times weakness and doesn't always want to try to mitigate that with whatchamacallit, Terrastall or something, or item, besides Sash, I guess I could say. Because it's like, you could use Wakan, but then it's still going to be 2 times weak to electric. And then some other common Sashers. There's really not a lot of Sashers. Pawmot, mostly Sash. Gengar is very commonly sashed. By far the most common item. And then anything else? Not that I can see. Okay, so the main 3 or 4 are probably going to be Meowscarada and Lycanroc are going to be the most notable ones. It doesn't even show Lycanroc in the usage, but this usage stats I can tell are old, because if it wasn't, Lycanroc would be used a lot more. Is like a hidden gem. And so Meowscarada, Lycanroc are the most notable too, but also Gengar and what's the other? Pawmot and maybe Pelipper. So those 5. Now some other ones. Pin Missile. That could 2-shot Meowscarada. Let's see who gets that. A stab Pin Missile? Not really anything. That's good. There's not a lot of good bug types. Besides Volcarona. So forget that one. Rock Blast might be good for Pelipper. Let's do rock typing also. Rock or Technician. Oh, Lycanroc gets it, so you could use it. Same with Dreadnought, even though you would probably want to use Rock Slide with that one. But I mean, Rock Blast would only be good for Pelipper though, with Sash. And even then, they might not use Sash. They might use Citrus or something. So personally, I wouldn't even try to counter sashed Pokemon unless they're common to begin with. Gengar is common, but it's not so common that I would so common or so threatening that I would specifically try to counter it. But Endeavor and shenanigans with Lycanroc is fairly common, more common I'd say than Gengar, and it's just more annoying when it has Sash. So, just my opinion. So I wouldn't worry about it so much. Water Shuriken. I don't think any Pokemon gets that. Water Shuriken. Yeah, nothing. No Greninja. Like I was thinking. So then Bone Meringue, the only thing I remember getting that is Marowak or its pre-evos. Let's see who else gets it. Nothing. So you can't use that. Double Kick. It's really just Tauros. Dragon Darts. No, that's not that would hit their ally if they don't protect. So I don't really count that one if you're trying to kill Sash unless they happen to have a fairy type and not protect with their Meowscarada or whatever. Okay, Dual Chop. I don't even think that's a move anymore. Yeah, see, I used to remember. I think people ran it with Garchomp or Haxorus or whatever. Okay, Dual Wing Beat. That's the one I talked about with Mence. Let's see if there's another. I think there might be another Pokemon that uses it. You could use it with Bombardier, but it's not that high tier. And then I guess you could use it with Kilowattrel, but it's not going to be that powerful. You would have to use like maybe Flying Terra for it. Twin Needle. Nothing even gets it anymore. Surging Strikes. I don't think any Pokemon gets that anymore. Yeah, and then Triple Dive. There is Wug Trio, but that's not very good unless you're using the Sandcastle Palo Sand with it. But I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't use this. Um, and that would only be good for like Can Rock, and like I said, like something like Palo Sand Ally. Now, Gear Grind, I don't recall. Yeah, see, there's no Pokemon that gets that. And then there's a few more to check out. Triple Axle. Nope. Triple Kick. I know Hitmontop is known for that, but it doesn't. Yeah, I guess there is no Hitmontop. Population Bomb. Yeah, Population Bomb is just for Mousehold. You could use Population Bomb, Pop Bomb, and so actually these are 5 good Pokemon that get stuff like that. Even though Mousehold, yeah, Population Bomb is fine. I'm trying, but it doesn't kill whatchamacallit, like Can Rock in one hit. But then again, probably neither does Baxcalibur or Dual Wing Beat Mence. I think you should focus more on Meowscarada though, because it's used a lot more. It's the most common Sash Pokemon. So I suppose it's fine to consider this a counter. I don't know why I feel like it's not a counter. I guess because it doesn't outspeed. Because Baxcalibur and Mence can outspeed it, and possibly wall Meowscarada a little bit better than Mousehold. Tauros, same thing. The water one, the water one, you would have to use Scarf or something with it if you were, or Sash with it or whatever versus Meowscarada. You could run Sash, but then it wouldn't necessarily one shot is the problem. So actually, I'm gonna delete this one because it's Tauros water would be mostly just good versus like Handrock then. And then anything else? No, Tail Slap? No. I think that about covers it. So these are probably the best Pokemon to use to go through a Sash. You could make Mousehold bulky enough to usually wall a Meowscarada unless they Terra Stall, and even then you might wall it. But then it's like usually the really bulky Mouseholds use Friend Guard and not Technician with Pop Bomb. They're like dedicated to helping out a ally. So Double Kick, you could use Choice Band with it or some boosting item. Scarf, you don't have to use Scarf though with Mence, so you could use a lot of other decent items. I'm trying to think of what I used with it. I don't think you necessarily need Clear Amulet with it anymore, because Intimidate isn't super common. You could run even the flying, whatever it's called. What's that item that boosts up flying? I don't know. You'll have to look it up. I think it's Sharp Beak. Or you could run some other item, Life Orb. You could run Mirror Herb. Is good in general. If you outspeed their Hill Ape, so you might want to use some speed with it. You could use Scarfback's Caliber to outspeed and one-shot it. If you're using Ments and you're really afraid of them getting up boost though, or getting even just one hit off with Meowscarada, you could just give it Scarf, and Moxie would be good versus Defiant. So these are 4 Pokemon that I think would do pretty well against Sash Pokemon in general, even though this one only works versus, or these 3 only work well versus Meowscarada, even though that is the main Pokemon you're focused on, but this one would counter both Meowscarada and Lycan Rock. So actually this might be a pretty decent move on a boosted Tauros Fire. So thanks for watching.